Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to my apostles, a great millstone, and peace and salutation to the hopeful members of the elect, the Bacharim of the house of David, that's been preordained, predestined to get delivered in these last times and to be the ruling governing body of the nation, Ayash Allah. So this is from Dabu. Test run. Massive fire destroys major Iowa egg farm. Port Arthur explosion. Lights out in California. So all these series of events, it's all orchestrated. Okay? You know, farms being taken out. Because this is not the only one. This has been happening gradually for several years now. All right, if you've been watching. Okay? Lights out in California. That happened in San Diego, which that's where I live at. I'm here currently, and it's most likely happened in the northern part of San Diego. All right, because I didn't experience any blackout. Okay, but they are gonna bring the energy system down. Okay, actually there was a video from Jason A. He did. Maybe I can play that video next. Worldwide lockdowns have begun. Energy lockdown has started. Maybe I can play that, but let's play this, okay?
Is this a test run, or has it begun, so to speak? We have events popping off all across the country that are raising eyebrows. As you can see here, lights out Southern California, which have since been fixed and they're back up. But it was just the scale of it and the timing, along with other events popping off, that has caught people's attention. So, again, lights out.
Yeah, because these elites are already going forward with their plans. Okay, all this is happening because we're about to enter into Jacob's trouble fully. At its height, all out hell's about to break loose. The economy is about to collapse. You see what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz with it partially closed. All right, it's affecting world economies. They're gonna bring a lights out type of situation and blame it on, whoever. All right, the grid system is gonna go completely off. All right, it's gonna get chaotic out here. A time like never before, like the scriptures say. The Lord's gonna plague this place like He did. He's gonna bring plagues unto this place like He did in ancient Egypt. All right. And then some, okay, and more. All right, it's about to get truly chaotic because we're in the time, all right, of this. We're at the end of this man's rulership, okay, and this is not for us to get affrighted, to be scared. Or only fear Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, the one and true only power, okay. This is not for us to be in fear, because the Lord's gonna take care of His elect, all right. But judgment is coming upon the whole earth. All right? We're talking about billions of people being wiped out. Judgment is coming. Okay? Orchestrated famine is coming. All right? Starvation. All right? No electricity, lights out. Again, extreme uncomfortability. All right? That's approaching. No more going to your McDonald's. You shouldn't be eating that junk anyways, but we're going to any grocery stores. All that is about to come to a halt. All right, so let's continue.
In California, if you experienced any of this, let me know. We have Hawkeye Pride Egg Farm near Corwith in Hancock County in Iowa going up in a blaze, with tons of chickens and eggs being wiped out. They were a massive supplier. It has people saying, what is going on here, especially after the Port Arthur incident. And if you don't know, when it comes to the whole Port Arthur refinery explosion, of which the mainstream media and the media is not saying anything about terror, we know for a fact there was a guy that put a thread up on social media about a refinery in Port Arthur getting blown up that night. He removed the post and all of his posts on social media after that. The authorities know this, and there's a string of things going down here we should pay attention to, in my opinion. Whether it's lights out, fires, explosions, yes, things happen by accident here and there. But when things start to pick up and escalate...
Yeah, and if you don't know, the Port Arthur refinery is, okay, I typed it in, it says is one of the largest in the U.S. So this wasn't no just coincidence, okay? It employs 770 workers and processes 435,000 barrels of heavy sour crude oil and other feedstocks into gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Valero says on its website, okay? So this is one of the largest refineries in the U.S., okay? You know, so they're attacking the oil, all right? See, this is all being orchestrated, even over there in Iran. These elites, they have control over these nations, all right? And they're orchestrating, they're going further into their new WO, their New World Order, all right? This is... First Timothy 2, verse 1. And it says, 2 Timothy, I meant. 2 Timothy 2, verse... wait, hold on. Salakia. Oh, okay, Salakia. 2 Timothy chapter 3, and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. Now let's look at that word perilous. Okay. Spell it backwards, but okay, here it goes. Perilous times. Distressing, fierce, or dangerous times in the last days. Okay, let's just get the definition by itself. Extremely dangerous. All right, perilous is an adjective meaning extremely dangerous, hazardous, a full of risk, often implying immediate threats. All right, common synonyms include treacherous, dangerous, risky, precarious. All right, while antonyms are safe, secure, and stable. So again, security, it's no longer going to be safe out here. It's going to be all out hell. All right, it's going to be danger on every side. Okay? It's going to be, again, uncomfortable for everyone. All right? No food, no water, no electricity, which, you know, this infrastructure, you know, everything is based on electricity. All right? All that is going to cease. Okay, they're gradually building up to that. More people are going to lose their jobs. AI is going to take over. You know, they already have these robots made. I just seen one in San Jose. It malfunctioned. All right, so don't be surprised when you start to see these robots out here on the streets, like, you know, like the movie I, Robot with Will Smith. All right, and then when they turn, you know, the switch on to go into kill mode, yeah, that's going to happen. Okay, all these things, you know, are going to come. Tribulation is going to come upon the earth. But that's not for us to fear. All right? Because Yahweh Bashmashai is in control of all of it. All right? This man is only doing what the Most High programmed him to do. Okay? And his new world order is only going to go so far. Okay? But after that, Yahweh Shai is going to return and establish his kingdom. Job 12, verse 5. He that... Oh, it's like 5, verse 12. I was right the first time. Okay, Job 5, verse 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right, Yahweh Shai is going to disrupt and destroy this man's kingdom. All right, his MO, his plans, and ultimately this Edomite, all right, who proclaims to be the white race, all right, the Caucasians, all right, and also Amalek. the so-called Jews, because they always try to make a distinction. They're not white, they're Jewish. Well, no, they're all the same nation. They're Edomites. The Lord is going to destroy this man's kingdom. All right, ultimately, he's going to destroy his own self, send off those nukes. All right, America's going to be destroyed, but when the Lord returns, he's going to bring that fire, that chariot, all right? Destroy those armies over there in Western Asia, in the land that's barren and desolate, that will soon take place in World War III, okay? And make his way to America, to Babylon, and deliver the elect throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? And after that, yeah, the kingdom will be set up, okay? So this man, Esau, Edom, the international banking families, they can only go so far, all right? They're in their underground bunkers, and they watch our videos, I guarantee you, all right? And they hear this message, and just know that you guys are going down, okay? And they see the chariots, they see, what they call UFOs, all right? They see the angels, they see, the sincere, true prophets prophesying, and everyone's waking up now, all right? So, yeah, the cat's out the bag. You even go in these comments, right, on Dabu, food, fuel, and power, right? That's mostly what they're targeting, okay? Many food facilities have been destroyed in the past 2 years. Not a coincidence, right? The egg farm, this has happened systematically the last few years. There are no coincidences, right? Everyone is waking up. And again, it's been several farms that caught on fire, or, remember that train derailment a couple of years ago, and it released all of like a bunch of chemicals, all right? Yeah. I'm in Iowa. That was a huge egg farm. So sus, yeah. And then they attacked the biggest oil refinery in the U.S. Yeah, this is no coincidence.
Gotta pay attention, because we're in a current state of war globally. The enemy's gonna buck back here at some point. They could have already. So again, is this a test run, or has it begun in terms of these events? Head on a swivel. I'll continue to watch them. Leave comments below and join me for the live stream where we're talking about this in greater detail Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Dabu 77. Better get ready for war.
Yeah, we're getting ready in the spirit. All right, so let me play this. Hopefully this can play. Come on. That was a damn ad. That was some folly. Come on, man.
Tokyo.
Let's go.
As Americans feel the shock of higher gas prices at the pump, there's another energy crisis
See, power operators warn America's electrical grid at increasing risk of blackouts due to surging demand. See that thing that blackout that happened in San Diego? It's no coincidence. They're trying to make it look like, well, see, we told you this was coming, all right? Because this is all planned and set up.
Across the country, but the people who actually run the electrical grid issuing stark warnings.
Ultimately, the whole end game is when they bring in that RFID chip, all right, after all the chaos, they're going to be like, well, in order to live within our society, in our new society, you have to take this chip, okay? And everyone's going to be so, in a case of, uncomfortability. Remember, it said, I got 2 Timothy 3, verse 1, perilous times shall come, okay? And we're in that time now. All right, everything, and it's going to get worse and worse. Okay, they want you people to be on a bending knee. All right, that's how they're going to get you, and they're conditioning you as well. Okay, through movies and gradually push into now everything's digital. People pay on their phones and whatnot, on their watch. All right, they're leading you people into their newer order, whether you realize it or not. All right.
For 100 years, America's electrical system, mostly stable, with blackouts being the rare exception. But when they do happen, they can have exceptional consequences.
It's now to the Philippines, which has declared a year-long national energy emergency in response to Iran's blocking of the Strait of Hormuz.
There's still no official rationing in place, but some Sydney service station operators have started implementing their own with caps on how much you can spend at the Bowser. And right now, the only thing rising faster than the price of fuel across the city is anxiety and anger among drivers.
It comes as some petrol stations in our cities, as you say there, start limiting the litres that customers can buy. Those kinds of restrictions previously limited to regional areas.
See, what they're going to do is, bring in the cars that run, electrically. All right. Remember, Joe Biden, I believe he, what did he pass? Excuse me. Let me look that up. Joe Biden, electric cars. All right. The Biden administration has aggressively promoted electric vehicle EV adoption, aiming for 50% of new passenger car and light truck sales to be electric by 2030. Key policies include $370 billion in climate investments under the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act, up to 7,500 consumer tax credits, and strict EPA tailpipe emission rules finalized in 2024. Okay. So, yeah, and, Trump is going to, further that, all right? He already said how he wasn't going to go into the cryptocurrency, all right, or the CBDC, but he introduced the stable coin, okay, which is a part of that, all right? Because the whole angle, again, is move further into digital currency, and then ultimately that shit. All right. Crude oil price $175 a barrel. Whew, wow. Yeah, things are skyrocketing.
Restrictions previously limited to regional areas, but clearly spreading despite assurances from the government that petrol supplies are the same as before the crisis.
But the supplies are far from stable. Asian economies are being forced to resort to extreme measures. Like the Philippines, it has been forced to declare a national energy emergency today. A first since the COVID pandemic. The country's president, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., announced it himself. He said the Philippines faces immediate danger of low energy supply.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. announced that he'd signed an executive order to safeguard energy security amid severe disruptions to global supply chains. He warned of the imminent threat posed by the US-Israel war against Iran to his country's fuel supply. The Philippines is dependent on fuel imports, making it particularly vulnerable to disruptions in production and shipping.
In Japan, Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi has ordered the release of national oil reserves to stabilize supply and prevent domestic shortages.
Yeah, so protests erupt in Manila, which is in the Philippines, over fuel price hikes. So people are, are protesting, what the scriptures say. More protests, all right, are happening. I mean, I always see it in the news, but they're happening, okay? Second Ezra, the 9th chapter, verse 1. Or I'll get straight to the point, to be honest. Verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, right? Uproars mean protests. All right. Then shalt thou wilt understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Okay. Let me read one last verse. For like as all that is made in the world hath the beginning and an end. The end is manifest. See, the end is being manifest through these prophecies. We're seeing it, all right? And call Yahweh Bashmashai, because this has to happen. This has to come. Oh, damn, I don't know what happened. I gotta go back again. Slovakia. You gotta play this damn ad. Yeah, I'm getting that YouTube premium. I'm getting that
to stabilize supply and prevent domestic shortages.
Let's go back.
In production and shipping.
In Japan, Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi has ordered the release of national oil reserves to stabilize supply and prevent domestic shortages. Tokyo is also coordinating with global partners to tap into joint stockpiles, signaling just how seriously advanced economies are treating
Man,
these
see,
supplies.
look, LNG, all right, oil crisis disrupts daily life in Pakistan. So this is affecting other nations, So yeah, man. All right, so let's continue. Boy, that's an ugly nigga right there. God damn.
Shock.
To secure the adequate amount of petroleum products that is needed nationwide in Japan, we began releasing private sector petroleum reserves on March 16th, and will start releasing national reserves from this week, March 26th. Furthermore, the release of jointly held reserves with oil-producing countries is also scheduled to begin within March.
Well, across Asia, the impact of the Iran war is unfolding in real time. Apart from the Philippines and Japan, countries across Asia are reeling under the fuel supply shock due to the Iran war. In Vietnam, fuel prices are surging sharply, adding pressure on households and businesses. Sri Lanka is once again facing power cuts as shortages deepen. Pakistan is also facing a similar crisis, where a severe LNG shortage is raising fears of power blackouts within the next 10 days. Bangladesh has hiked jet fuel costs, raising concerns for aviation and trade. Meanwhile, Myanmar has imposed nationwide fuel rationing, highlighting just how widespread and severe this energy issue has become. India, one of the most critical economic powerhouses in the region, is weathering the situation. The government in New Delhi has said there is no crisis of fuel as of now, as it works to secure India's energy supplies through the Strait of Hormuz.
At North Ride, no ride. The billboard's blank, the taps are off, and everyone's feeling a little empty.
Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
As this fuel crisis starts to step.
I'm just looking at the comments real quick. It says what? 2030 agenda set in, or in set. All right, yeah. This is all engineered people. Stick together and turn your anger and ire where it belongs and not towards each other. The world is a stage, people. Yeah, see, people are waking up, welcome to the 6G era where your phone knows you better than your therapist. Your fridge reports your snack crimes, and your toaster has a firmware update that requires a background check. They told us AI would make life easier. Sure, easier for who? In 1984, Big Brother watched you. In Brave New World, they drugged you. In Terminator 2, the machines hunted you. Now with 6G, they just send you a push notification saying, we notice you're resisting. Would you like to update your compliance settings? Yeah, man, this man is this technology, all right? That's part of this man's sword. He's using it, to further his agenda, all right? He's gonna have his, his AI robots out here, and the Palantir, all right? AI to see, recognize patterns and actually, let's just see. What is Palantir? Palantir gives short breakdown. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta word it like that in Chat GPT. All right. So Palantir Technologies, quick breakdown. What is it? A software company that builds powerful data analysis platforms. Okay. So it builds powerful data analysis. Okay. Platforms. What it does, helps organizations collect, organize, and analyze massive amounts of data to make decisions. All right. Who uses it? Who uses it? Governments, intelligence, agencies, right? CIA and whatnot, military, law enforcement, large companies, finance, healthcare, supply chains, main products, Gotham, used by governments for intelligence and security, Foundry, used by businesses for operations and data insights, AIP, AI platform, integrates AI into decision making. Why it matters, it turns complex data into clear, actionable insights like spotting threats, improving logistics or predicting trends. You see, so they ultimately it's like a masterful decision maker. All right, it analyzes and it gives you like the best outcome. Okay, what to do, how to execute this objective. Okay, controversy. Some people criticize it for privacy concerns due to its work with government surveillance. Okay. So again, what it does helps organizations collect, organize, and analyze a massive amounts of data to make decisions. Okay. I'll just say going down the conspiracy, because you got to word it like this with ChatGPT, what is 2030 agenda? All right, let's get to the point. All right, the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is a global plan adopted in 2015. All right, at the center of it are the Sustainable Development Goals. 17 goals countries voluntarily agreed to work by 2030. Okay, the 17 goals, and it's all bullshit. No poverty, zero hunger, good health. It's all BS because Esau can easily do that. But he doesn't want to. He's a wicked. There are sadistic people, the elites especially. All right. Now let's go down to conspiracy, which I had to put it like that, but it's not a conspiracy. It's the truth. Some online communities claim it's a hidden plan for things like global. It is global control or one world government, eliminating private property. Forced digital IDs, surveillance, controlling food, travel, or energy use, right? Again, Revelation 13, verse 16. That's control over everything. The food, the trade, all right? Causing all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand on their forehead, all right? They want to trade and let's just get it. So it's coming right now, okay? Revelation 13, verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell. I'll start verse 16. All right. I mean, I phrased it, but let me read it. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, everyone, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads. That word mark in the Greek is what? Charagma. All right. That's the it goes into idol, all right? That's that digital all, that chip, all right? And the two latter root words are charax, needle, and graphos, information, data. That's where all your information will be stored on that chip. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? So they're going to have control over everything, and you have to have that chip in order to live within their society, to buy, to sell, all right, to live ultimately in their society, right? But we're here to tell you to not take it, all right? And us that believe in Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, we're not going to take it. Lord will the Lord keep the spirit on us, okay? Because once you take it, you're done. You're going to have a front row seat to a nuclear missile. And you're basically, man, that's weak. You're saying you'll rather bow down unto Esau, Edom, than the one true living power who created you. All right? It's weak, man, if you take that shit. All right, so let me see. That was basically it. I'm not gonna go too much in that. Well, I guess I can play just one more minute of this video.
This is how easy it is to buy shares of properties on Railbirds. You can scroll down to a property that you're interested in.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
As this fuel crisis starts to stare Sydney in the face.
Very worrying.
Statewide, 59 service stations tonight sit empty. More than 200 have no diesel, and more than 300 have a limited range of unleaded. At this Shell site in Cromer, fuel rationing. A 50-litre limit with a a ban on tanks and cans. Sydney hasn't seen anything like it in any real way since 1979.
Bloody ridiculous, mate. Can't believe it.
I'm not going to last very long in this car.
Some are paying much more. As others hoard at home.
Panic buying and stockpile.
That's another thing, panic buying. You know, that's really going to cause things to not be in grocery stores, all right? 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, verse 22, all right? For the full storehouses, actually, I'll just get it, you know. Let me just get it on my other phone because I don't want to lose this video. As you can see, every time I get off, I lose it, right? So let me just play this while I get it.
And petrol hoarding.
Call it what you will, as many call it out in mock viral videos.
You gotta be kidding me, mate. If the energy situation...
2nd Ezra 6 verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, right? So nothing in your grocery stores and outlets, okay? No, any type of commodity, it's all gone, all right? And it's gonna gradually, it's gonna get scarce, all right, until there's nothing. And again, that panic buying, people, remember in 2020 during the lockdown, all right, people were just buying, everything. It was a lot of things not on the shelves, all right, it was ridiculous. But that's what people do when they go into panic mode. Notice the word panic buying, right?
worsens, those restrictions will extend to private vehicles as well. South Korea is also restarting nuclear reactors to raise power generation. And it has eased its own limits on coal use in power plants, a measure it had previously stepped back from on environmental grounds. The crisis forced a reversal. Elsewhere in Europe, Slovenia became the first European Union member to introduce fuel rationing. And then there is Britain. Where most governments are buying time, Britain is using this crisis to accelerate a longer-term shift. The government introduced new rules requiring heat pumps and solar panels in all new homes across England. The message from London is deliberate. The solution to an energy shock is not just more supply, it is less dependence. Experts have called this the largest energy crisis yet. No single tool will be enough to resolve it. And the world's response, fragmented, urgent, and still evolving, makes that perfectly clear.
Now a new combination of the latest artificial intelligence data centers and aging power plants is creating a perfect storm, from the big city to the Great Plains.
Becoming more of a challenge across the whole eastern part of the United States.
Rich Dewey oversees NISO, which runs the grid in New York.
Rich, you said the grid is at an inflection point. What does that mean? Really, it's a confluence of a number of different factors. So we're on the cusp of really new technologies coming onto the grid, and it's really got us concerned about our ability to meet reliability for not only for New York City, but for the state as a whole.
Dewey says on a peak day, the demand is 32 to 33,000 megawatts. Now they have proposals for 13,000 more megawatts in demand for AI alone, a nearly 50% increase.
At a time of significant load growth, we're actually retiring more generation that we're building, and that gives us some concerns.
New York is connected to about half of the country through the Eastern Interconnection, and Dewey says everyone is talking about the problem.
They need more energy for the AI. Okay.
What we're seeing is the story in New York is a very similar story across all the other regions.
Another grid operator called PHA.
They said that they're about to, the city that never sleeps, New York City. Well, they're about to set an order for everything to be closed around 11. All right.
AM handles power in 13 states and DC. They say they've got the same problems. They're letting new data centers connect only if they bring their own power plants online too, or they have to agree to power down when the grid gets stressed. It's becoming a political hot topic with protests against new data centers at town halls across the country. And in California, some projections indicate a doubling of the state's demand in the next 10 years. For the companies that actually have to deliver the power, it's all they're talking about too.
We know across the country we need to generate more power and we need to invest in infrastructure to move it, and that's what we're all focused on.
Sally Librera runs National Grid New York.
We are investing in the grid throughout the state. Upstate, we are making the largest investment that's ever been made in the grid. We're rebuilding 1,000 miles of transmission. We are investing heavily in substations, and the reason that we're doing that is because we want to grow the grid.
That includes the natural gas to fuel the plants, now the biggest fuel source for electricity across the country, surpassing coal about a decade ago. And despite the global conflict, natural gas prices have remained relatively low this year, for now.
So oil prices hovering around $104 a barrel, and it's no surprise with all this uncertainty.
Yes, indeed, and we think that oil prices will continue to stay at an elevated level. Right now, there are a lot of news and conflicting message actually around the negotiations and whether there will be some potential escalation move during the weekend. So if something happened, we might see oil prices potentially hit higher level, especially if the U.S. want to send the troops to take over Kog Island or take over the control of the Strait of Hormuz, because then that will for sure trigger Iran to initiate some severe revenge that potentially push the oil prices to, let's say, 120, but that could be a potential turning point in this war.
What if the prices are to rise to, say, as you $120 and possibly above? What are the implications of that for the global economy and certainly the economy in Asia?
Right. So I think it really depends on what Asian countries we're talking about. For instance, like Japan, they still have a sizable oil inventories and they can continue release from these stockpiles, whereas some other countries like the Philippines, like Thailand, and even Australia, they don't have much oil reserves. So,
So they basically through. Japan can hold out a little bit. The Philippines and Thailand and Australia through.
Higher oil prices not only means higher fuel price to them, that the pain is for real. Like there's just simply no gas in the station, and probably they need to ground the airlines at some point. So if the war drag along, let's say until mid or late April, we might see some severe implication like civil unrest or some crisis.
Yeah, see, this war drags on. It's gonna get harder and harder for these other world nations.
In a humanitarian way.
All right. The world is running low on energy.
I'll just play a little bit more.
And it is not a gradual decline. It is a shock.
Yeah, that's it. It's damn ad. All right. So you got the gist of it. All right. They're attacking the energy, the energy system. All right. The fuel supply. Okay. I got in the beginning that a large egg farm in Iowa. So the food. Okay. Again, so when you put in the comments. Food, fuel. All right. What was it again? Actually, let me see. It's like food, fuel, and what was it again? And power. Right. Food, fuel, and power. Right. The energy system. Right. They hit the largest refinery in the U.S. in Texas. So, yeah, man, it's all orchestrated. So call Yahweh Bashimashai. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. On to the next one. Shalom.